In the bustling city of Lagos lived a young girl named Chiamaka, the only daughter of a wealthy family. Her parents, Chief Uche and Madam Nkechi, were successful business owners, running one of the most lucrative import-export companies in Nigeria. Chiamaka had everything: luxury cars, the finest clothes, and all the privileges that wealth could offer. Yet, despite her seemingly perfect life, she was consumed by envy and dissatisfaction. No matter what her parents gave her, she always wanted more. One evening, as she scrolled through social media, seeing her friends flaunt their expensive trips abroad and lavish lifestyles, Chiamaka's envy deepened. Though her family was rich, her father was strict about spending money, often insisting that she work for what she wanted. This frustrated her, and she felt that her parents were stingy, depriving her of the life she truly deserved. That night, an idea took root in her mind. An idea that would change everything. She thought, I could make my parents give me all the money I need without their endless lectures. Her mind raced as she formulated a plan. She would stage her own kidnapping and demand ransom from her parents. They would be so terrified for her safety that they would pay any amount to get her back. Chiamaka confided her plan to two of her closest friends, Kunle and Ada, who were notorious for being street smart and always involved in shady deals, but were intrigued by her scheme and agreed to help her for a share of the ransom money, of course. They discussed the plan in detail, choosing a location in the outskirts of the city where Chiamaka would disappear for a few days. The next weekend, Chiamaka left home, telling her parents she was going for a weekend getaway with friends. In reality, she met Kunle and Ada, who drove her to an abandoned house in a remote village on the outskirts of Lagos. They took her phone and sent a chilling message to her parents. We have your daughter. If you ever want to see her alive again, deliver 10 million naira by tomorrow evening. No police, no tricks, or you will never see her again. Panic engulfed Chief Uche and Madam Nkechi when they received the message. Desperate, they called friends and even consulted with some influential people to ensure the money was gathered quickly. Chiamaka's parents, though heartbroken and terrified, managed to raise the ransom and arrange for it to be dropped off at a special location in the dead of night. As planned, Kunle and Ada went to retrieve the ransom money from the location, while Chiamaka stayed hidden in the abandoned house, waiting for their return. She could hardly contain her excitement, imagining the lavish lifestyle she would soon have, free from her parents' control. But her fantasy was short-lived. Hours passed and neither Kunle nor Ada returned. At first, Chiamaka thought something must have delayed them, but as more time passed, panic set in. She tried calling their phones, but they were switched off. A cold realization crept over her. They had vanished with the money. She was stranded, alone in an abandoned house in the middle of nowhere. By the next day, her phone's battery died. She had no food, no money, and no means of contacting anyone. Chiamaka wandered through the village, trying to find help, but her pride kept her from revealing her identity. Days passed and she realized she had no choice but to return home. When she finally found her way back to Lagos, dirty, tired and humiliated, she approached her parents' house. Her father, furious and heartbroken, was ready to call the police to report her return. But Chiamaka, broken and filled with shame, fell to her knees, confessing everything: the fake kidnapping, her greed, and how she had been duped by her own friends. Chief Uche and Madam Nkechi were devastated by her confession. They couldn't believe their own daughter would go to such lengths to betray them for money. Their disappointment was palpable, and Chiamaka, seeing the hurt in their eyes, was overwhelmed with regret. Her father, though enraged, held back from involving the authorities, choosing instead to handle the matter within the family. But the punishment was severe. All of Chiamaka's privileges were stripped away. She was forced to work in the family's company as a low-level employee employee, learning the value of hard work from the ground up. Her friends, Kunle and Ada, were never found. The 10 million naira was gone. Chiamaka's dreams of easy wealth. She learned a harsh lesson that true riches come not from deceit, but from integrity and hard work. In the end, Chiamaka's story became a cautionary tale in Lagos, whispered among the wealthy elites and the streets alike. The girl who kidnapped herself for money only to be kidnapped by her own greed. And though she lost her innocence and her sense of entitlement, she gained a wisdom that no amount of money could ever buy.